Wow. Is he actually stuck to the wall? Now see, that's funny. There we go. Hitting record now. Alright.
Alright.
Mimicking me now. Yeah, you can tell that we're off to a bit of a slow start. But this is going to be the first of hopefully many special Q&A sessions for our Two Nerds One Comics videos. A lot of these questions are just questions that I thought that maybe a lot of you, our subscribers, would want to know, and some of them are questions that, you know, basically just questions in general to kind of help introduce you guys to, okay, you know, like our personalities, you know, pretty much my personality, Monster's personality, what we like, what we don't like, stuff like that.
And ladies, I am very much single.
Oh wow, really? Really?
Hey. Try it.
But no, I think before we get into the questions though, and I was telling this to you, Monster, and you were kind of cracking up at it as well, but apparently there's been some trolling going on involving me, and apparently me trying to take over your YouTube channel or something like that. I don't know. I was too busy peeing myself laughing to really try to make much sense of it.
Well, I mean, what kind of trolling questions or comments are there that are sort of indicating that?
Well, I mean, some people are saying, you know, that predominantly I'm the guy that's always doing the Two Nerds One Comic stuff. That basically I'm always posting comments on your channel, you know, asking people for a Q&A. That basically I'm being, you know, pretty much a diva, and that I'm trying to dominate the whole entire working relationship that we have. Just people being idiots in general. And really what people need to understand is that, number one, yes, I am a little bit envious that Comic Book Fan 1234 kind of named you, and yet I kind of wasn't even mentioned at all. That did kind of irritate me a little bit because, you know, I do work hard on my videos, but, you know, I'm not the kind of guy I'm not the kind of guy who bears grudges for long. And also, you know, quite frankly, even if I'm envious, I'm not going to go out of my way to sabotage your channel. I mean, why would I do that? What would I gain from that?
Well, I mean, the reason I started making videos, though, Steve, is because you started making them. So I figured that you were doing pretty okay with your channel, so I figured, hey, maybe if he could do okay, then maybe I could too.
And I mean, a lot. And it's.
I've been doing more than okay.
I know, and that's, I think, where kind of the envy comes from, because it's like, you know, you're getting kind of recognized by everyone. Even Zipblock Gory, you know, added you as a friend, and I'm just sitting there in the background like, but I've been at this for like 3 years. What the fuck? You know, but you know what? The way I look at it is that I am the kind of guy that, you know, if you work hard, you know, which you put a lot of time and effort into your videos, so I can't really be too envious because, you know, like me, you do work hard and try to be creative with doing your videos. So I just kind of sit there and I'm like,
a lot of bullshit from YouTube.
You know, and I mean, well, who doesn't get bullshit from YouTube? But it's kind of funny to me though that, you know, people are saying all these things, and it's like, yes, that's somewhat how I feel, but it's not, you know, as exaggerated as they're putting it. You know, oh, you're just jealous because, you know, Monster's actually gaining fame and you're just, you know, a nobody. And it's like, you know what, number one, fuck you.
Exactly.
You know, number one, fuck you, and number two, you know, just because, you know, you can be envious without, you know, being bitter and hateful towards someone. You know, I would love to have the fame that you have, but at the same time, it's like, you know, whatever. You know, I don't do YouTube videos, you know, for the money or the fame or for partnership or any of that bullshit.
Well, the way I see it, Steve, I didn't start doing videos supposed to get famous either, but yet, look at me today.
Yep.
I'm positive someday, man, that you will become.
Well, I mean, you know.
Recognized as me.
Well, I mean, you know, honestly, you know, it's whatever, but you know, we got 5 minutes on the clock, and God knows whenever this when this camera goes and, you know, cuts us off. So, the very first question, I guess, to start off with is probably the easiest one, and that is, you know, number one, you know, do you and I know each other in real life? And number two, if we don't, how did we first meet? The answer to that question is no, we do not know each other in real life.
No, and for how we first met, that's kind of an interesting story. Basically, what happened that this is kind of a long story. What happened is that I used to be a real big shot, immature kind of person on Xbox Live, and some of Steve's friends, actually, I was friends with a couple of them before I even knew Steve, but I accidentally ended up insulting one of his friends. Then Steve kind of got real upset, and he basically, you know, ranted at me and cussed me out for it, and that I ended up feeling really bad. So one day, when I met him, I talked to him a lot, and I apologized to him, and it basically took off from there, and that's how he and I became acquainted much.
And it was kind of funny because I remember that too, because like, you know, we were playing around in like Forge on Halo 3 at the time, because Halo 3 was like, you know, the big popular hit for all the FPS, you know, fucktards. And pretty much, you know, we were just goofing off in Forge, and I remember you were saying, you know, you said something to one of my friends, and it was my absolute best friend of 3 or 4 years who I've known in real life, actually. So I took real offense to it, and then from there, you know, I did have to admit that I was kind of taken aback, because everybody that I had met on Xbox, literally, even people that I didn't know, you know, they were just complete douchebags. They were unapologetic, they were rude, they were ill-mannered, and so it was very surprising, you know, that there was one person that at least, you know, had the balls to at least admit that they were wrong, and that took me aback a little bit. And then, you know, like you said, things took off from there. You know, found out that you had a common interest in comic books like I did, that you were as much a film buff as me, let alone, you know, into the classic, you know, really bad B-movies and stuff. And then from there, you know, we're at the point that we are now. And that's, you know, it's almost, I don't want to say that it's like a complete Cinderella story. I don't want to put it in kind of a homosexual type way like that. But, you know, it's one of those like friendship stories that you read about in like, you know, like Lifetime movies. And looks like the video makes